Okay, so what you're looking at here is the Louisiana Purchase. Through a complicated arrangement, Spanish Louisiana becomes French Louisiana. And you may have studied this at some other point in your career, but I'm not going to talk about it too much now. But the big point I want to make is that in 1803, the US purchases the Louisiana Territory, this huge territory right here, um, from France. And this is a huge moment in Texas history because, as I've said in previous podcasts, suddenly now Texas's new neighbor is the United States. So here's another date you have to remember: 1803, the Louisiana Purchase. The significance for Texas history is the US, the very powerful, still young, but growing more powerful every day, United States becomes the neighbor of Spanish Texas. And the Spanish immediately realize how dangerous this is for them because, as I've said in previous podcasts, Americans want Texas. Why do they want Texas? They don't really want Texas for, to be honest with you, for San Antonio or El Paso or West Texas or Big Bend. What they want is East Texas. They want the cotton growing areas, the very, very rich cotton growing areas of East Texas. Um, where you can grow cotton without irrigation, you can grow cotton from the Gulf Coast to just about Austin. West of Austin, there's not enough rain to grow cotton without irrigation. Today, most of the cotton that's grown is actually grown near Lubbock in Northwest Texas. That's because there's a big aquifer there called the Ogala Aquifer, I think. So interestingly, most of the cotton grown today in Texas, or the majority of it's grown around Lubbock, but that's because of irrigation from this reservoir or this aquifer that's getting sucked up. In the period that we're talking about in this course, though, you needed rainfall to grow cotton. And that rainfall, cotton growing, rainfall enough for cotton, stretched from the Gulf to just about Austin. One of the interesting facts about Texas is for about every 25 miles you go west in Texas, you lose an inch of rain annually. So the Beaumont area gets something like 40 inches of rain a year. Don't quote me on that. That's not an exact, but it gets quite a bit of rain. It's not what people who, when they think of Texas, they don't really think of East Texas. They mostly think of West Texas, where El Paso annually only gets about 1 inch of rain. But once again, and you'll be tested on this, what Americans wanted, they wanted the rich cotton growing area of East Texas, west of what's now Austin. Austin's not created until 1836, as I hope many of you know. So that's what Americans want. They want East Texas to grow cotton. And I can't say it enough. If they're growing cotton, what are they bringing with them? What's the workforce they're bringing with them? Captives, enslaved Africans, African Americans at this point, who are forcibly dragged into Texas against their will to pick the cotton. So the Louisiana Purchase, 1803, a date that you have to know, suck it up. The key is that Texas has a neighbor, and ultimately Texas is going to be incorporated into the United States. So the Spanish had a right to worry. Texas isn't incorporated into the U.S. On Spain's watch. It happens after the Texas Revolution. It happens in the 1840s. But the purchase of Louisiana by the United States is one of these historical events that happens outside of Texas, which has a huge impact on the history of Texas.